All right, some new information out there that's great for the Detroit Lions. Before we get into it, let me know in the comments a Detroit Lions draft pick that we've had in the past that you were super pumped about, whether it worked out or not. Mine was Ernie Sims. Oh, man. I was like, this dude is going to be incredible. He was okay. I mean, he wasn't great, but because what would take him like 10th overall or something pretty early. Louis Delmas. I don't even remember drafting Delmas, actually. I just remember all of a sudden he's on our team. He's from Western, so you're just like, let's go. Let me know in the comments. Throw some names out there that we haven't heard about in a while. Okay, here's the news. Kind of a bombshell for this time of year. It's about as bombshell as you're going to get, and that is that Matthew Golden, reports are that he's got an injury history, that he's maybe injury prone. So the number one wide receiver in the draft is slipping to in the Lions territory. So much so that they hosted him on a pre-draft visit, on the top 30 visit. So Matthew Golden, 5'11", 190. I mean, this dude, if he's 1 inch taller and 10 pounds heavier, he's going to be unbelievable. So he's not a natural fit for the X role where Tim Patrick is. He's more kind of St. Brown. But again, Brad Holmes says, I don't care about position. If you're the best, you're the best. And they're going to draft him. And so Brad Holmes wouldn't commit to any long-term plans with Jameson Williams, which is interesting. But what's interesting is this is a guy that they've brought in who is just a really good player. He's the best player. He's the best wide receiver in the draft, and they have him falling now all the way. You can see him right here, pick 22 to the Chargers. So the Lions are like, well, we better bring this dude in. I mean, he has an ankle injury. His production overall was not great, but he ran a 4.29. He's really a good player that the Lions could end up with the number one wide receiver in the draft all the way at 28, or they're thinking to themselves, we might move up here and just take our guy if we have to move up 5 spots to go get a guy like Matthew Golden. So to have him come in is interesting. So he missed a significant part of the Longhorns' playoff loss to Ohio State after going to the locker room because of a foot injury. And this is just like, whoa, again, this is kind of sticking with him, even though he ran a 4.29. So it's like, all right, but whatever makes him drop all day, let's do it. So I think, again, we keep talking about it. The Lions positioned where they're at in the late 20s is perfect. Unless you're looking for a quarterback, being in the top 10, there's just not that big of an advantage. That's why you win games, because it doesn't matter if you're picking 13th or 23. You get your option out of a lot of really good players. So again, the Lions have been winning, and they're NFC Championship game, 15-2 last year. So they're picking in the 20s, and they've just got so many good players to pick from. So if you look at it here, you can see kind of this batch of players that they're going to be able to pick from. And interior offensive lineman Tyler Booker. Yup, sign me up for that one. Edge, this Boston College edge keeps getting mocked to him. Kenneth Grant, defensive lineman. James Pierce Jr. keeps getting mocked. There's a ton of defensive end. Matthew Golden, we just talked about. Offensive tackles that really, I don't want to say we need an offensive tackle, but if a really good offensive tackle is there, Taylor Decker is not getting any younger. We don't know about Giovanni Manu. It'd be nice to have a really good backup tackle, if anything, because love Dan Skipper, but is he really your guy? No. If he even makes the team, that's kind of where he's at. So it'll be interesting. Okay. Speaking of that, let's do a 3-round mock draft for the Lions. Picks 28, 60, and 102 currently. And, well, there you go. Right off the bat, you can see that we have a tackle option. You could have somebody that wants a running back that could trade up for you. I would love to see the Lions trade back. I shouldn't say I would love to see that, because then they'd be out of the first round and we wouldn't have a pick, and oh my gosh, that would just be terrible. But I love picks. I love picks. Okay. So somebody could be like, man, Omarion Hampton. Defensive lineman Norman Lott from Tennessee or Nick Scorton. Man, I'm going to go with this Tennessee defensive lineman because remember, Aleem McNeil is going to miss basically. Is he going to miss the entire season? Probably he'll come back, but I mean his injury was at the end of the season, so by the time, so he probably won't miss the full season. I get that, but he's going to miss the first half of the year. So we need some defensive line help, probably more than we think, but also I think Levi Onwuzurike, hopefully he can be a good player. So anyway, all right. Defensive end, UCLA. This is why, I mean, the defensive ends are just so loaded. We got to do it. Defensive end, help Hutch out. By the way, Hutch, he's running. Need you, buddy. Need you. Okay. Lastly, Jaden Blue. I like him, but all right, Jeffrey Bassa out of linebacker. Man, another edge. Man, hate this so much because I think I'm going to go Savion Jones edge. Do another edge. Back-to-back edges. Just draft 3 edges. Who cares? They're so important. All right, let's take a look at this. Ooh, C-. Okay. Not great. An edge and another edge. Oh, geez. Yeah, okay. It didn't fall how I wanted it, okay? The draft did not fall how I was hoping. So overall grade of a C. Just, come on. All right. What's your plans for the draft? Do you watch it with friends, or are you just kind of hanging out? Remember, Craig and I will be going live for the draft. I think we're going to be doing some giveaways. I think that would be fun. Do some giveaways throughout the live stream. Why not? I was thinking about giving away some of these, like Dan Campbell, just a classic Dan Campbell, Bobby Boucher, and Barry Sanders college uni. That's a nice one too. That's the real deal. The Dan Campbell one back here is just kind of, I don't know. It's time to get these changed out. Get some other things going. So maybe do that. So let me know in the comments your thoughts. Matthew Golden. Ooh, that's the number. Realistic number 1 on our board for me is, I don't know if it's Matthew Golden, but it's a great player. And because again, within reason, right? Like we're not going to get Mason Graham, but we could get Matthew Golden. So I would take that all day. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see all of you on the next one.